a very beautiful poem, an African that we should appreciate life for what it has. Because sufferings always doubles the joy of pleasure. From this slide, I'm going to start the critical appreciation of the poem, stanza 1, and the first two lines of the text that we are the miracles that God made to taste the bitter fruit of time. Here, the poet starts with the personal pronoun we, and the use of pronoun is because the poet is speaking on behalf of all his people, Africans, and he immediately draws the reader into the introductory statement. He draws the reader as if he is the part of the poem, and he is the part of the people like Africans who are the miracle that is created by the God. So if we see the word miracle, miracle means the act of God, and we are miracle means of African people considers them with the miracle and suggests that God has placed them on the earth with the goal and gave them power to confront with grief and with awful situations or occasions. So here, by saying that we are miracles that God made, it means that God has given them the strength to explore the meaning of life, to explore the reality of life, to bear the hardships. So they are not the common people, they are the special people, they are the miracles that God made. Fine. And now the second line, to taste the bitter fruit of time. Bitter fruit suggests a diversity of meaning here, like the bitter fruit means the life experience, the sufferings, but most appropriate meaning for me that bitter fruit is Africans themselves. In the first line, the poet says Africans as miracle of God, and in the second line, he suggests that Africans are like the bitter fruit of time. Here, time is compared with the tree. A tree has bitter fruit, suggests that Africans are chosen to endure sufferings. And the capital T of time emphasize the importance of time, that it is personified as time has power to expose us to both happy moment and the difficult time, happy time and the unhappy time. Fine. So time is also a symbol of God, that as time has power to convert the good time into the bad time. Same is like with the power of God, who has created that miracle, but He has given them strength. Here, the bitter fruit is the for Africans people, and the bitter fruit is the creation of God. So the bitter fruit of time means the life experiences, sufferings, which are not always constant. The amalgamation of sweetness and the bitterness, like fruit and bitter, the word, and then time is also related with the fate. So the first two lines suggest that Africans are not common people. They are special creation of God. They are miracles of God, and God has created them specially to endure pains of life. Here in this slide, I'm going to discuss the next three lines of stanza 1. Here the poet says, we are precious, and one day our sufferings will turn into the wonders of the earth. Here, the poet says that we are precious on behalf of all Africans. He's saying that we Africans are precious, we are valuable, we are spiritually valuable, we are spiritual people, we are guiltless individuals, we are innocent. So our sufferings will turn into something great. So here, these lines imply that sufferings has the ability to change into something good, change into something wonderful. So it is only through sufferings that the Africans will appreciate the sufferings, the pains, and the hardships, and they consider themselves as miracles, of God, miracles of nature. So through these lines, the poet also introduced the idea that the African experience of life and dealing with life is unique and astonishing. So here another thing which I want to discuss is that here we can also see the idea that overwhelmed poets thought that his belief and his interest in mysticism, and he says that all Africans are able to bear hardships and sufferings, so they are miracles of God. In this slide, I'm going to discuss first two lines of stanza number 2. The textual lines are, there are things that burn me now, which turn golden when I'm happy. So, in these two lines, the poet beautifully describes his emotions, his optimistic feelings about African people, that if they are burning themselves physically, if they are burning their sentiments, if they are burning their emotions and sacrificing their pleasures and tolerating pains, then the Africans will turning themselves into golden color. They are getting worth, they are getting maturity, and this is a great wonder for Africans and for poet as well. And so he is happy to gain that worth. He is happy to gain that maturity. So here the poet describes his abstract strategy that after tolerating pain, after hardships, and after burning their pleasures of life, after burning and sacrificing their happiness, they are going through the stark realities. So happiness is the result of bearing all that pains, all that unpleasantness, all that sacrificing. So and the poet is happy at the end by getting all the worth. And here I want to discuss one more thing, that the poets believe in coming future. The poets believe a positive and hopeful future, and he's happy to think about it. Here are the next three lines of stanza number 2. Do you see the mystery of our pain, that we bear poverty and are able to sing and dream sweet things? So, here in these lines, again, we can observe the optimistic tone of poet, that he is not lamenting on the miseries or the sufferings or the pains of African, but he's again using that abstract strategy of being a realistic in a sense to feel the mysteries of the pain which they are bearing or they are tolerating uh, in their life. So here the poet asks a rhetorical question like, do you see the mystery of our pain? It means that he is emphasizing on the idea that we, the innocent Africans, the guiltless Africans, but we are bearing pain. So they are. So they are happy in bearing that pain, and they will get something very precious in their future by bearing all these pains. So he's saying that, do you see the mystery of our pain? Mystery again. You can see that the poet is again believing or emphasizing on the idea of mysticism. It is his belief that that there is something in that pain, that why God has chosen them to bear the pain, to bear the sufferings. So he is optimistically thinking about that mystery, and he's in the next line he's saying that we bear poverty, as all of we know that Africa is a land that is full of wealth, and we in many novels like Heart of Darkness, we are aware about the colonization of white people on African land is due to the wealth of African people. So he says that we are bearing poverty and are able to sing and dream sweet things, that we are bearing pain, we are bearing poverty, but instead of lamenting on the situation, instead of lamenting on the sufferings or the pains, we are able to sing and dream sweet things. So he's saying he's actually appreciating the life. He's appreciating the pleasures of life, and he's not looking on one side of the picture that is totally negative. That is totally you can say that the one side is totally unpleasant, and the other side is full of life. So he is bearing the pain, but he is looking at the side of that is full of pleasures. So he says that our sufferings will turn into something great, and that is why we are bearing that pain. But again, in that situation, in that painful situation, they are able to sing and dream sweet things. So they are enjoying and celebrating pleasures of life with full of their emotions, with full of their life. And here you can say that Africans are not only enjoying that poverty, but and pain and sufferings, but they are enjoying their life, which is full of songs, which is full of sweet dreams. Line. Poet says that we never curse the air, and in this line he says that it makes acts of God, in that miracles